Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Jake Asman.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Oh, O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
No balls, 2 strikes. Wheeler set to go. And the pitch to Alonso. Swing and a miss. He got him! The Phillies have swept out the New York Mets. A complete game shutout by Zach Wheeler, who scattered only 2 hits on an afternoon when the Phillies honored Roy Halladay and retired his number 34. Zach Wheeler put together a Roy Halladay-esque outing today. And the Phillies have won 8 consecutive games.
Man, oh man, is it good to be a fan of the Phillies right now. 8 straight wins, as you heard there. The call on NBC Sports Philadelphia. Philly wins the game 3-0. Zach Wheeler, 2-hitter, retired 22 straight Mets. The Mets now have lost 7 of their last 8, including 4 in a row. 3 straight over the weekend of the Phillies, and I mentioned it, Phillies won 8 in a row. So all of a sudden, the Mets, who were in first place basically the entire year, right? I think at the All-Star break, they had a 4-game lead in the division. Trade deadline similarly as well. Here they are in third place. 2.5 games now behind the Phillies. The Mets have been awful. And while they've been bad, Philly's been great. And it all comes back to me, comes back to the fact that the Mets, to me, didn't do enough at the deadline. Now, sure, they brought in Javi Baez and they got, Rich Hill. But they needed to do more to that rotation, especially when they learned that DeGrom is not coming back till September. They knew that at the deadline. And they didn't get enough starters. But honestly, the reason why the Mets have lost the games they've lost overall this year is that even when they were winning, they were not hitting. Now their pitching has regressed, and they're not hitting to overcompensate for that. I mean, the Mets offense is a joke. It's a joke. I understand that they are missing Francisco Lindor in that lineup right now. I get that. But Lindor hasn't been, even when Lindor was healthy this year, he wasn't playing well. What's the excuse for guys like Michael Conforto and J.D. Davis to be this bad? Michael Conforto is hitting 201. 201. This guy's going to be a free agent. Who the heck is paying him a lot of money this offseason? Jeff McNeil's a guy that is a phenomenal hitter. 300-plus hitter. He's hitting 267. That's not Jeff McNeil. Brandon Nimmo's the guy Met fans were high on. Brandon Nimmo's not being that, he's hitting 285, but he's not giving you a ton of productivity. Even Pete Alonso, he's been great at times, but he's so streaky as a player. They don't get big hits, and they're not hitting. James McCann has been okay. Has been an okay signing. He's hitting 243. But really, they bring in Baez, and other than that 1 home run he hit against the Marlins, he's swinging at everything, which is really compounding their problems. It's a mess, man. It really is. And I think the Mets are done. I just don't think they have enough. And Steve Cohen, can you stop tweeting? I think Steve Cohen has to take a real look at himself in the mirror and realize that tweeting is never going to work if you're an owner of a team like the Mets. Because here's the problem, right? Steve Cohen was tweeting a ton when he first bought the team and when the Mets were winning at the beginning of the year. So if you're tweeting when the going is good, you can't not tweet when the going gets bad, right? And the team right now has been awful. But Cohen on Friday tweets, how about a little positive energy for the weekend? I'm feeling the offense is going to get going. And then before the game yesterday, he goes, I just visited the players in the clubhouse. They're ready and in a good frame of mind for this game. And then they got dominated by Zach Wheeler, who the Mets' former general manager, Brodie Van Wagenen, basically said Philadelphia overpaid for Wheeler. We didn't want to pay that. And all Zach Wheeler's done since he's been a Philly is been an elite starting pitcher. I mean, as bad as the National League East is, and as bad as Philly has played at times this year, the Phillies might have the MVP of the league and Bryce Harper with how hot he's been. My God, that home run he hit Friday night is still going to deep center field. And Zach Wheeler's pitching himself into the Cy Young conversation. He really is. And for him to do that on a day where they honored Roy Halladay and retired his number, I mean, You want drama? You want like the mystique of baseball? That's Zach Wheeler right there, who's having a phenomenal year. 10-6, 2.42 ERA. Obviously made the All-Star team this year. He's been great. His 2 years in Philly so far have been really good. Last year in the short season, he pitched well. Mets didn't want to pay that guy, though. You think they could use Zach Wheeler right now? So, my God. As far as Pete Alonso, I want to get to this. If you're a Met fan, and understand the psyche of the Met fan base, very negative, very cynical. They expect the worst to happen. A lot of Met fans are Jet fans, so I relate to them in that sense. Do you really want to hear this from Pete Alonso after you lose 4 straight, after you get swept by your arch rivals in the division?
Mets fans, believe in us. And don't just believe, know. Because there's tough times, not just in baseball, but in life in general. Know that this is just a speed bump and a challenge. And also smile. You get to watch baseball, even though it's a game. I know we have the most passionate fan base in baseball. I know that. And I understand that it's frustrating. It's frustrating for us, but just understand that we're here together. We're all in this together, and we got this. We got this. Just smile and just know that we got this.
Why would any Met fan smile, Pete? Come on. I get it. You're trying to be positive. Nobody wants to hear that crap, though. That's ridiculous. Smile, Mets fans. You get to watch baseball. I think every Met fan would rather not watch this team right now, but they're junkies. They're addicted to it, so they're going to watch. Because, as Pete said, they are one of the most passionate fan bases in the game. You don't want to hear that, though, from Pete Alonso. Oh, Met fans, you got to believe. You're still watching baseball. No one wants to hear that. It was all good for Steve Cohen at the beginning of the year, and then the Mets didn't do enough at the trade deadline. And guys they're counting on have just failed. I mean, there's no other way to say it. How is Michael Conforto hitting 200? He's too good of a hitter to be that bad. And I saw the audacity of some Met fans to try and compare the year Conforto's having to Stanton. Give me a break. Giancarlo Stanton, he hasn't been great this year by any means, but he's been far better than Michael Conforto. At least Stanton's had a couple big hits for the Yankees, including one on Friday in extra innings to tie the game up. You can't even compare the two. So please, Steve Cohen needs to stop tweeting. It's not going to work. Because you can't tweet only when the team wins and not tweet when they look awful. And when you tweet when they look awful, it's a bad look all around. So just don't tweet. How about a little positive energy for the weekend? And then they get swept. Steve Cohen's going to find out that owning a team in New York is not easy. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. So the Mets, I think they're done. I don't think they have enough to catch up to Philly right now. Philly's rolling, Mets are struggling, and then, Atlanta has now passed the Mets. Brutal. Time will tell, but if you're a Met fan, you have every right to be irate. I would be too.
Have current events affected the ability for you to pay your bills? Has your credit card debt